New York adopts a radical gender agenda for public schools, and New York Mayor Erick Adams calls out BLM for a deadly day on Juneteenth. Then lastly, New York is going to be fining and shutting down pizzerias that don't reduce their emissions by 75%. I'm Solo. This is a solo show. So, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out which state is worse. It's either between California or New York. I've bashed California quite a bit since it is my home state. But on June 12th, New York adopted NEA's radical gender agenda for public schools. The New York State Education Department document declares some TGE, which stands for trans and gender expansive, students have not talked to their families about their gender ideology because of safety concerns or lack of acceptance and may begin their transition at school without parent/guardian knowledge. It continues, only the student knows whether it is safe to share their identity with caregivers, and schools should be mindful that some TGE students do not want to or cannot have their parents/guardians know about their transgender status. So the schools are going to essentially let your kids be trans, be gay, be whatever without informing you as a parent, as the child's caretaker, and actively hide it from you. They're simply saying that your kids are safer over here with the government than rather it is with you, the person that's raising them, the person that's taking care of them, and trying to guide them in this world. And this is just absolutely crazy. It further goes on to say, all school staff members and students must refer to students by their chosen name and pronouns, and schools should create opportunities to confirm the correct information with all their students in a manner that respects the student's privacy. They go on to say, intentionally referring to a student verbally or in writing by a pronoun inconsistent with the student's gender's identity, or by a name other than the student's affirmed name is a NYS human right law violation and is unacceptable. They're basically saying, it's not even now that you have to be just tolerant. You have to actively play into their delusion and affirm the gender dysphoria. These are kids that are under 18 that do not know right from wrong, do not know what is true in this world because they are so young. And we're just going to follow their delusion into what gender ideology that they want to play into. And, I think it's something a lot deeper than, Sally just feeling feeling like a boy. I think it's something that has to do with their psychology, and it's something that they're missing. They basically have a void in their body that they're trying to fill it with attention from, whether that be changing their gender, being gay, trans, the rest of the alphabet. But basically, this is not what we do as a society. We don't just play into people's delusion, right? We need to get them help, and we need to tell them, hey, Sally, no, you're not a boy. And then they will continue to grow out of it. The document also says students must be permitted to participate in all school activities, for example, day and overnight field trips, in accordance with their gender identity asserted at school. So basically, they're allowing these kids, to just go to the opposite bathrooms, play, the boys who say they're really girls, go play with the girls' sports. And this is not normal. And places like New York and California are just allowing it. The majority of parents, the majority of Americans aren't agreeing with this ideology. It is a particular group in the far left that are trying to push this into our mainstream lives. And we must continue to speak out. We must we must continue to show up to these. You see a bunch of parents going to the school boards, and that's what we just have to keep doing, right? The normal average American is not agreeing with this, so that is a huge problem. Another huge problem. This weekend, Erick Adams, the mayor of New York, had a press conference where he called out BLM. He said, "If Black Lives Matter, then Black Lives Matter when innocent people are shot on our streets." Juneteenth was one of the most deadliest days in New York for all year. A day that was supposed to bring the community together ended with a ton of bloodshed. And Mayor Adams is starting to get it. I don't think he's going to implement policy to stop this crime from happening. But, I mean, this is something that conservatives have been pointing out that BLM isn't promoting a healthy living situation for the black community. They're not promoting the nuclear family. They're not saying we should change culturally as a black family. They have the highest single motherhood rates, and it is something that they should be advocating for, but instead they only go out and protest when a white cop shoots a black person. That happens basically, I think around 200-300 and in times a year. And this is what the conservatives have been saying this whole time. BLM should, if they want to really help the black community, you have to go into these communities, change the culture, and help them kind of elevate. Lastly, the New York City Department of Environmental Protection is reportedly drafting a rule that would require restaurants with the brick and wood-fired ovens installed before 2016 to reduce their carbon emissions up to 75%. The new rules being drafted will require these restaurants to assess the practicality of installing an emissions control device to reduce emissions by 75%. And on the entire scale of trying to reduce emissions and to help the environment, these activists are going to do absolutely nothing with this. This isn't going to reduce it a whole lot on the whole scale. It's not even going to reduce it 1%. But what these environmental activists never go after is the actual problem or the right thing. They just do the small things, and the individuals, not driving, not, riding a bike instead, all the other stuff that they talk about. They're not going after the bigger picture, which would be the corporations having tons of emissions going into the environment. And United States is actually doing a pretty good job with our size and with how much manufacturers that we have here. We're doing a pretty good job with our emissions, and I definitely don't think going after the pizzerias in New York is going to help it a whole lot. It's just really making it difficult for those small business owners that are going to have to spend $20,000-$30,000 for a whole new oven, and this isn't going to be money that they're going to have. And I mean, in a place like New York, it's just going to get broken into. Glass is going to be shattered. It's really not the smartest idea for small business owners. It's really those big corporate guys that you really want to go after. That's all I have for today, guys. It's been a pretty slow news week, but go ahead and just leave a like, comment, and share. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.